Let's settle down, go ahead and put up your electronics and get started. Today we're going to talk about the business of theater and things that you need to know about when you're trying to do a show. The first thing I have in the theater and business is the core things that we have to have for both theater and business. And then we're going to talk about theater's dual nature. What is the dual nature? How does theater production involve marketing, budgeting, and managing personnel? What everyday business skills do you think are important to putting on a play? You think there's anything important to putting on a play? Any business skills? No? Okay. Thank you. Good shrug of shoulders. So, what we're going to do is we're going to briefly get the screen to change. We're going to talk about theater's dual nature, how theater serves as both an art form and a business. It is, as an art form, it focuses on the storytelling, the creative expression, and performance. However, for production to be successful, it's got to operate as a business too. So this involves marketing the show to attract an audience, budgeting to ensure that you have the financial stability, and managing personnel such as actors, directors, and production staff. That's the whole crew, that's everybody. That's all of you who work backstage, as well as those of you who want to be the actors. Balancing artistic vision with financial and logistical considerations is crucial for any production, as theater must be sustainable to continue creating impactful performances. So you got to be able to afford doing the shows that you're going to do. So let's talk about the different roles. The producer is the first one. There we go. The producer. What does the producer do? He has a role as both the creative and the business leader. He manages the overall production, everything, and secures financing. So the producer goes out and says, hey, bank of so-and-so, will you give us money to put on this show? They get money from other people, never their own. That's a rule in show business, is never use your own money if you can help it. And most people are wise to do that. So they're the ones who get the creative business leader. They manage the overall production, secure financing. The production manager, they do the scheduling, the budgeting, and the logistics. Where we're going to have it, logistics. Where we're going to have it, how much space are we going to need? The scheduling, when do the actors need to be there? When do the crew need to be there? How much money are we spending on it? Go to the producer, find out how much you have, how much you can use for each of the people that are involved, how much the crews give. So if you have a certain budget that you give for costumes, a certain budget you give for set building, another budget for props, another one for actors, you got to know these things. That's what the production manager does. The next one is the marketing and publicity. These are the people that drive the ticket sales. They are the ones that do the advertising, they do the contest, they get the audience engaged and want to participate in coming to see your show. So they're the ones who do that. So you have to have the marketing. I appreciate you not getting up and going anywhere, because that bell is not for you. Okay, investors. The investors are very important because they're the ones who the producer has gone to get the money from. They're the ones who fund the show and manage the financial risk. They're the ones that say, I have, like for a movie, they say, man, I have $1 million to put into the show, but I'm hoping that I can get that $1 million back in how you do the show, and hope I can get a profit back. So they're taking the risk, because if the show flops, they've lost their $1 million. So the investors are very important to that. They're the ones who fund a new show, to manage the financial risk. Okay, we're going to take about 10 minutes here. I'm going to divide you into groups. And you got to, different ones of you are going to have to be the producer, the director, and marketing team. Each one of you are going to brainstorm the responsibility of their character, presenting briefly, okay? So I'm going to stop here, and I'll pick back up after, because I know your families don't want you recorded, so we're not recording there. But I'm going to stop here, stop the tape, and you'll have 10 minutes to finish that, okay? I come over here and stop the camera. Get out of my way. Okay, that was good. Except for you. No, I'm kidding. You did a good job. All right, the financial aspects of theater now. The topic is budgeting and funding. The budgeting is the breakdown of production. It's the breakdown of production, the cost, the cast, the crew, the salaries, the sets, the venues, etc. Where am I having it? What am I doing? How many people am I going to need? You have to have the financial aspects there. Okay? So, the funding part is the personal investments. Let me get back to my notes here. The personal investments, the crowdfunding, and the sponsorship and grants, and the ticket sales and merchandise. This is where the funding comes in and where it's going to. There's some Broadway shows that have used funding that have gotten really good returns and some not so good. And one of the ones I wanted to mention that's turned a profit is, according to the Deadline Hollywood, Hamilton, which cost $12.5 million to mount on Broadway, returned a quarter of that profit to its investors in the second week. That means that you have 100, a quarter of it is that much. So a quarter of $12.5 million was returned to them in its second week. That's Hamilton. So you know that in the next 2 weeks that they more than made up for the 12.5 million. So, and Hamilton's still going strong, so it's still making money for them. The magazine compared Hamilton with Broadway's last similar smash, which was called The Book of Mormon, which cost $11.4 million to mount and returned 100% of that after 8 months. So 8 months later, they're paying back the $11.4 million to their investors. However, they still got to keep going to make a profit. So they'll keep going. They kept going with that. The magazine initially incorrectly reported that Hamilton opened September 6th. It actually opened August 6th, which means that Hamilton is on track to at least equal the Book of Mormon's feat. Hamilton regularly operates at more than 100% of the seating capacity at the Richard Rodgers Theater, meaning that it sells a considerable number of standing room tickets. A lot of income is derived from the premium seats, the special seats, the higher paid seats, which are sold considerably over the price of the regular orchestra seats. The Deadline reports that advance sales is in the $40 million range, but much of that is needed for the weekly operating cost. Tickets for an upcoming Democratic Party fundraiser are going to be for a super premium price of $10,000 a piece, which includes a photo with the president, the current president. And so, you know, each of these have to be funded by somebody, and sometimes you become the investor when you buy the tickets for the fundraising meals and the dinners that you go to. Okay, so now, I was going to talk about these individually. Spider-Man, however, did not do well in the box office because of the disasters it had. It crashed The sets, a lot of times, they had some injuries with the actors who were swinging on the ropes, and it did not return the investment that they had hoped for. Okay, now we're going to take another 5 minutes, and I'm going to let you brainstorm for ways to raise money for a fictional play. You've all got, some of those play magazines that you order plays from to give you an idea of what the cost would be. So I want you to take this time to think of a show, make it a fictional show. How are you going to raise the money for it to get it set? So let me stop here, and we'll pick up when you get through. Now, I don't know how interested people would be in the story of your life at 17 or 18 or however old you are, but it's your show. So if you want to get investors for a show about you, then that's okay. All right, so our next thing is branding and marketing. This is the marketing and audience development. We're going to get in here and talk about the importance of creating excitement for a show, identifying your target audiences. Are they mainly youth? Are they families? Are they tourists, etc.? The Broadway ones that are real popular right now are the Disney ones, and they are centering around young people, youth, especially young ladies. Between the preteens is who they're focusing on for the Broadway, for the Disney ones, but they're also including to bring in the whole family. So it's centering on youth, but it's also including the family. So you want to find out who your target audience is. It's the importance of creating that excitement about it. What's the story? And years ago, when Cats came out, there was a big billboard in New York that had a grocery sack on it, nothing else. The next day, or the next week, the bag was turned over and you saw a pair of cat eyes in the back of the bag. And then the third week, the bag was empty and it said underneath, "The cat's out of the bag." And then the fourth week, they had the cat eyes and then the logo Cats. And that's how they built excitement up for that show. It was another Andrew Lloyd Webber, memories. Yeah, this is before y'all's time, but it was a good advertising and marketing thing. Okay, so advertising methods, posters, social media, local partnerships. Posters are good around the school for when we're doing a production. Social media has become this wonderful way of promoting the show and just doing it far better than a lot of things that we've had in the past. Social media is taking place of, in the politics that's going on right now, the social media is a lot better than the newspapers and all, and getting news out. And so people are relying more on that social media. So marketing would be silly not to use that as a means of getting things out. This one has an example of posters, social media. The Lion King was another one that got excitement out. They had the puppets by Julie Taymor that had come out, that she put the people in the puppets and just made a cartoon into a live action show, and it was very stunning, and it built excitement. It built an audience incredibly, how it did, and they did it just several different ways, and Disney just pushed it, and all their advertising, they spent a lot of money on it. Okay, all right, now students, oops, let's go back to that. I'm going to stop again and get you your partners that you had from yesterday. I want you to develop a marketing plan for that fictional play that you came up with a while ago. I want you to select a target audience and describe one promotional strategy explaining how it will attract ticket buyers. Now, I can't show y'all, but when y'all get it, I'll talk about it, okay? So they select a target audience, and you select this target audience, and describe one promotional strategy explaining how it will attract your ticket buyers. Or you can do that now. Dan, you were saying something about cookie sales and bake sales. What else?
Talking about the ads and the programs.
Ads and programs, that's great. What kind of target audience would you have for a show about yourself that you were talking about? What kind of
Family.
Family? So your life story is a good family show?
Well, maybe not.
Okay. So y'all need to pick out one. I'm not gonna stop it here, I'm gonna keep going, but that's what I want you to think about, is how you would get the target audience and what are the promotional strategies you would use. You say advertisement and the program. I also would include that if you're doing a major show in a major city like New York, you would want big investors. So you would probably have like a $10,000 dinner, probably not quite that much, maybe $1,000 a plate dinner, and then get some volunteers, restaurant to maybe prepare the meal, a celebrity chef to prepare it as well, get the investors in at $1,000 a plate, and that'll help invest your show on the life story of Dan, or Dan the Man. Okay, so, the next thing is, hang on. The next thing is, let me see. We're going to divide back into teams, and I'm going to get you to develop a basic plan for producing a play. I want you to choose a genre or a theme for your play, create a budget, how much it's going to cost, and I want you to develop a marketing plan. This is going to take some time. We'll start it today and then we'll finish it up for homework or to next class time. And when you present your plans, I'm going to have you present it, and it's going to be about 2 or 3 minutes to the class. And I want you to do a pitch, like they would do to a pitch. Yes, I said pitch. That means something where you come in and you tell the people what you have. And in Hollywood, they call it the elevator pitch, because you have a minute to describe everything you're going to do and try to get them to sell it before the elevator stops a minute later. So what you're going to be doing in class is you're going to take 2 or 3 minutes and have a pitch to potential investors or theater executives. It's like the Shark Tank. When you come up to the Shark Tank, say, this is what I got, this is what I want. And the shark people will tell you, the shark millionaires usually say that. But if you can convince them, there's a few times that you can convince them and they'll get started with it. So that's part of what we're about to stop and let you do. But let's go ahead and conclude this with questions and answers, and then we'll get started on that. So do you have any questions? Okay, you remember you got to have the artistic and the business aspect of theater. And do you have anything that you want to ask me about this before we get started on the other? Dan, you look a little confused. No? Robbie? Akila? Okay. All right then. That's all I've got to talk to you about. So let's go back and we'll get started on the dividing into teams and develop your plan for producing the play. All right? No questions? All right, then that's it. Thank you very much. Let's get started on the other thing.